Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, young African leaders initiate strategies to foster continental integration in the areas of governance, commerce, judiciary, among others. Minister of Defense says Nigeria is expecting more arms and ammunition to enable the military to curtail external and internal threats against the nation. Senate President gives assurance that the budget 2017 will be signed into law soon by the executive. And death toll in the London terror attacks rises to 7. Metropolitan Police arrest 12 suspects. We begin tonight with a call by young African leaders on the continent, to implement policies and programs that will make governance even more dynamic in West Africa. The young African leaders, made up of a select group of influential young Africans in the continent, met in Accra, Ghana, to pursue the political economic integration of ECOWAS states. Our correspondent Adjorin Gilali reports that the Young African Initiative is a new effort to bringing integrity to governance.
At a unique time in sub-regional history, when West African governments have collectively determined that authoritarian rule will no longer be tolerated in favor of democratic process and transition, young African leaders convene to chart the course of the next generation toward practicable socio-economic and political integration in the sub-region.
The leadership of Africa should be operating.
The next generation of West African leaders gather here with unanimous intent
in the freedom and empowerment of its citizens.
Before round-table discussions commence, a word of wisdom from an elder.
That you must be careful about your thoughts because they become your words. You must be careful about your words because they become your actions. You must be careful about your actions because they become your habits. You must be careful about your habits because they become your character.
Rubbing minds, young West African influencers pledge to put into action innovative new approaches to regional integration.
We don't trust each other, and I cannot work with someone I don't trust. And another thing, I cannot trust someone I don't know.
Oh, he's the one who is doing all of this, she's the one who is doing all of that. And then we always forget that there are societal problems we're trying to solve. So let the problems unite us.
When you're in France, you can go to London with $60. It's very easy. It's not expensive. How could I not come to Côte d'Ivoire, to Accra, with $20? Why?
Citing Ghana's strong judiciary versus Nigeria's weak judiciary, young leaders say that imbalances in institutional efficacy pose a challenge to mutually beneficial integration.
When everybody comes to the table to say, hey, what's your grievance with this integration issue? And maybe Ghana says I have a stronger judicial process, in such a way that contracts are enforced. So you benefit, but when my people come to your place, I'm not sure the contracts are going to be enforced. And the person says, oh, okay, so I'm going to go back to the table and make sure that this can happen for me to be able to have access to your markets on a larger scale.
A continent on the rise and a generation poised to put into action ideas made impractical by what has been a development-crippling status quo. In Accra, Ghana, Ajuri Ngelale reporting for Channels Television News.
The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, is assuring the nations that there is no crack in the relationship between the executive and the legislature. Fielding questions from journalists in his residence in Ilorin, the Senate President noted that though the beginning was frosty, there was nothing unusual about it, as many nations in the world experience the same thing. Dr. Saraki also expressed optimism that the budget will be signed by the executive in no time and asked the Nigerians be patient, as every detail contained in the document is to their benefit.
A smooth democracy or a strong democracy is not one that everybody agrees. Even if you do that, then it's a weak democracy. There's something wrong. The whole point of having National Assembly or Parliament arm of government is to ensure that no arm of government can either overrule or muscle the other is to ensure there's checks and balances in the interest of the Nigerian people. So definitely you will see times that we will agree, which has been most of the times, and you see some few times that we will disagree. But I think by and large, even despite the start, we will see by and large whatever the commentaries were, by and large most of the times we tend to agree. I think a lot of misrepresentations have been given to Nigerians say that we will have, as I said, you will have one or two issues, but you cannot define a relationship based on one or two issues. I know that there are one or two rejections that have been overblown into and given the wrong impression, and I think those that are doing that for their own selfish interests. It is not based on the constitution or the process, and I think we need to separate that from the real issue. So I don't think we should measure the relationship between I want to assure Nigerians that is fine. We issues that are important, we come together, we look at it. That is why when you're talking about the budget, again, I'm confident that the executive will sign it very soon.
Senate President Bukola Saraki. Meanwhile, Governor Bello Masari of Katsina State is vowed to recover 55 billion naira allegedly missing from the state's coffers under the previous administration. When he received the report of the Katsina Judicial Commission of Inquiry, the governor explained that the funds could be deployed to fix most of the state's infrastructure. The chairman of the commission, Ado Muhammad Mayaji, recommended the prosecution of all those indicted in the report and asked that they be made to refund the money to serve as a deterrent to other people. Lagos-based lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria is demanding the release of the leader of the Shia Islamic movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, and his wife Zainab. Mr. Falana says their current detention by the State Security Service is illegal and unwarranted. In the last year and a half, El-Zakzaki and his wife have been in detention for alleged civil disobedience and recalcitrance. Mr. Falana, who is also the lawyer to the detained person, is claiming that his clients have been kept incommunicado and the DSS is preventing him from seeing them. Meanwhile, the Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, has charged newly commissioned officers of the Nigerian Army to be prepared to safeguard the nation and its citizens from both internal and external aggression. At the passing out ceremony of officers of the Direct Short Service Course 23 held at the Nigerian Army School of Infantry Corps, Jaji, in Kaduna State, the defense chief told them that the war against terror is not yet over.
These 200 erstwhile civilians, now army officers, set to begin their military careers.
100 mechanism ready for inspection. Your Excellency.
The commissioning of the men and women into the officers' cadre of the Nigerian Army is coming at a time the nation is confronted with several security challenges, ranging from insurgency, militancy, kidnapping, and cattle rustling. Addressing the newly commissioned officers, the Defense Minister informs them that they will be joining the rank and file of officers and men who've demonstrated gallantry and valor in defense of their fatherland.
It is the responsibility of every one of you to play in the consolidation of ongoing successes and post-conflict situations. So pleased to see that irrespective of your successes, we still anticipate that challenges will still come up, which we must always be prepared to confront. As you graduate, our nation puts its trust in you and looks onto you with a lot of expectations, which you must never betray.
While reminding them that the Nigerian Army operates on a philosophy of zero tolerance for misconduct and cowardice, he announces that the federal government has procured more modern military equipment to boost the fighting power of troops.
We have enough armory now that is coming to the country. That is why when they are coming in pieces. Arms and ammunition is not something that you can not go just and buy off shell. You have to segment it. So we have enough, and we are continuing to bring more to support our forces.
They were cadets when they were under training or undergoing the training. Now they are called officers because they are already commissioned. So we are highly proud.
The Nigerian Army School of Infantry has been a major facilitator and force multiplier in the training of gallant officers and soldiers, and also in the fight against terrorism, through effective training of Army personnel and officers of other sister agencies.
All 3 federal roads leading to Abuja from Delta State are presently in deplorable condition and have turned into death traps for motorists. This appears to be the situation with many of the roads in the state, as residents and motorists ask government to fix them.
There are 3 routes that can take one to Abuja through Delta State. The first is Udumuje Ugboko Abuja Road. The second, Agbo Abuja route. And then the Ila Abuja routes. On daily basis, travelers from the east and the south-south go through these routes. Apart from being always busy, residents of this community also make a living by selling their produce to travelers. Now, the sad news is that all these 3 major routes are in deplorable states.
Seriously, it affects us very, very badly. Like transportation, Abuja Road, Abuja people, they are not normally pass here again. They normally pass, there is one short road there, they normally pass, and they affect us. If not this bag of sand, if motor pass, water will just enter inside my shop.
If you can look my workshop now, there is no work again. No motor can enter here to my store. And I cannot feed my children because there is no work.
This is Udumuje Ugboko Abuja Road, and these travelers are unable to continue their journey due to vehicle breakdown.
Government should work to do something about this road. We left Abuja around 11 o'clock yesterday night. Still now we still there for road for waiting. No, it's not good now. Make them do this thing. Every day they go carry big car, they walk up for road. They do wow for waiting.
The situation is worse in Agbo Abuja Road. The road is almost cut off, waterlogged, and is now a death trap for motorists.
In fact, there are some places you won't even move, even if you are even going on the regular machine, what popularly called Okada. You can't even go. You can't even go on a snail speed.
Another deteriorated route is the Ila Abuja Road. Motorists and residents lament the danger the road poses to their lives and property.
There was a budgetary provision last year. There was a budgetary provision for 2016. There is for 2017. There is also supposed to be a budgetary provision. Yes, as legislators, ours is to make sure that during the appropriation bill, issues concerning our constituency is looked into. We have always been able to do that, but the power to execute lies with the executive arm. And each time you want to make inquiry, is from one story to another.
The residents here and motorists are unhappy with the state of the roads, and they are calling on the authorities to help fix the road as quickly as possible before it's completely impossible.
The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and other related oil and gas units in Ekiti State have resolved to suspend the industrial action which has lasted over 2 weeks. This follows a peace parley between the state governor, Ayodele Fayose, and leaders of NUPENG and IPMAN, chaired by the governor of Osun State, Rauf Aregbesola, in Osogbo, Osun State. Governor Fayose says the peace deal was signed in the best interest of Ekiti State, which had been caught in the middle of the impasse between both parties. In part 2 after the break, controversy trails plans by some groups to initiate recall of a senator from Kogi State. Please stay with us.